Dr. Lanisha Robinson, your host for Career and Technical Education, hashtag Build a Future. Working in St. Lucie Public Schools with a Career and Technical Education CT department, we want to show what our teachers and students are doing in the classroom to close a skills gap in multiple fields. The students in these programs are earning industry certifications, which create more opportunities and options for all students after high school graduation. In this upcoming episode, you will meet Mrs. Jasmine Shepherd and her student Robert Zolo from Port St. Lucie High School and learn more about the Sports, Recreation, and Entertainment Marketing Program. Welcome. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Mrs. Jasmine Shepherd, and I am the business education teacher at Port St. Lucie High School.
Good morning. I'm Robert Zolo, and I'm a student at Port St. Lucie High School.
Okay. So good morning. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Mrs. Shepherd, can you explain to us what exactly is the Sports, Recreation, and Marketing Program?
So our marketing program has blossomed over the last 3 years, and it's really become something that I feel like all students can participate in. So we start with Marketing Essentials, which is focusing on social media marketing. Year 2 is going to be marketing applications, so we really dive into entrepreneurship and small business. And then year 3, we dive into the sports, recreation, and entertainment aspect, which in Florida we have plenty of. So we really start to talk about the role that marketing plays in those exciting fields.
Okay, so being able to teach career and technical education, obviously we have our teachers coming from industry and they have that experience. So can you tell us can you give us tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you become a teacher at Port St. Lucie High School?
It's an interesting story. So I was living in Virginia and I was in retail management, and I focused on marketing within the company that I was with. And we did all sorts of different events, and it was really nice. It was in Virginia Beach, so it was really easy to connect with people and people all around the world. So I was in retail management, and I realized that I wanted to do something more. So I went back to college, and I said, business is for me. I think I'm going to stay in that field. And I just learned how much marketing has to offer. So I was there with my now husband, and we moved down to Florida because this is where he's from. And I started to substitute at actually Port St. Lucie High School, and a position became available, and I said, I love marketing, I have the skills, and turns out I love to make a difference with the students. So that's how I got here.
Okay. So, and one of the interesting facts about you is that I know you stay well connected with the industry and also industry certifications. So can you explain to us, how are you staying connected with the industry? Can you let our viewers know?
Yes. So I'm a firm believer in getting professionals in the classroom because I think that students need to hear from more than just me. I'm not the expert of the field, and I love to hear other opinions. So I work well with Junior Achievement. We work with IRSC and Kaiser University as well. So we get those professionals into the classroom so students get different aspects of marketing and different business skills through that. And then we have our industry certifications. Did you want me to list those now?
Oh, we can talk about that, yes.
Okay.
So with your program though, because you just mentioned that how you're connecting your students with industry, you're staying well connected yourself, right?
Yes.
So one of the key pieces is for career and technical education is to connect our students and let them see at the earlier on, like middle school level, for career exploration. So how are you connecting your students in your program to the middle school?
Yes, so my students love doing the open houses, so we always do 2 incoming freshmen open houses at our school. And then we've also participated in Discovery Days, which Robert's actually been involved with as well. So we actually go on site to the middle schools and we show them what we have to offer at Port St. Lucie High School when they come to see us. So social media marketing is a great way to get the students involved and get excited. And then we tell them what they can achieve with this. So if they finish all 3 years, and I know we'll talk about this later, but you can receive college credit at IRSC. What an amazing opportunity. So we like to try to get the students a little bit acclimated in middle school. Of course, marketing is always that questionable, what am I actually doing for the middle schoolers? So it's awesome that we get to participate in those events and bring them into the high school with a little bit of knowledge.
Okay. You brought up a good point, how you're engaging your own students to actually market your program and speak and meet with middle school students. And Robert, you said you had mentioned that he had a good hand in that, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain what your role was and what you're asked? Give us a little bit how you perceived how it went speaking with middle school students.
So when we went there, we talked to all the students from 6th, 7th, 8th grade, specifically Southern Oaks I'm talking about. There were 3 of us, and I got to talk to each student for about a half hour each grade level, and connect to them, and they got interested on the fact that the first year was social media marketing. And I really connected with them. I handed out flyers, I handed out Ms. Shepherd's business cards, and they got engaged in it, and a few of them were actually thinking about joining the program now.
Okay. So what made you decide to join this program at Lucie High School?
I was just looking at the options I had, and I saw marketing, and I thought that was intriguing, and I took the first year, and it just so happened that I already knew Ms. Shepherd because she subbed for me my freshman year. And so I kind of like had a basis with her already, and it made just the class fun, engaging, and I just learned a lot from her going on into the next years too.
Okay. So what is your career, what are your expectations for yourself when it comes to your own life and your career after high school?
After high school, so I did apply to IRSC for a bachelor's in business, and I'm just hoping that I can go off from there once I get my degree and start making my life.
Okay. So Ms. Shepherd, why is it important for you to introduce this knowledge, all this, basically your wisdom to your students in this marketing program?
So I'm a firm believer, even if you don't decide to go into the business field or even the marketing field, these soft skills that students learn in my classroom are so important, and I feel like they've become lost, sometimes with the technology age, of course. So eye contact, being able to create a resume, interviewing, everybody's going to have to do that. So if I can get them in my classroom, even if it's just for that first year to get them moving forward, I think it's great for everybody. So I'm excited for anybody and everybody that comes into my classroom, whether they know what marketing is yet or not.
Mm-hmm. So with your class, if we were to shadow a student in your class or shadow you, what exactly would we expect to see or would see in your classroom?
So it depends on the year, definitely. So year 1 is more of an introductory, of course. So we're really honing in on our soft skills and trying to practice speaking to people. You know, the students get nervous with that. So I try to help them with that in year 1, and then we get that social media marketing certification. Then year 2, they're moving around a lot more. So we actually use the school bookstore, so they learn the selling skills with the students and the staff. And then we also do things like, it's an imitation of Shark Tank, if you will. Mm-hmm. And we actually just participated in the CT showcase, which I'm so excited. And then year 3 is really bringing everything together, and it's project management. So yes, we're still selling. Yes, we're still practicing those skills, but we're really in the management phase now. So what does sports, recreation, and entertainment look like? And how would we manage those projects if we were on site? So it really depends on the year, but I love to move around. I hate sitting in the seat for too long. So my students are moving around, they're getting engaged, and you have to talk to each other. We're one big family in there.
Mm-hmm. Which you made a good point, how you're saying how you get your students engaged, how you're talking about, it's basically like real world application as well. So Robert, can you tell me, as a student, what do you say is probably your most memorable or favorite time from being in the program?
I would probably say my favorite is the showcase we just did, because we've been working on the project for months, and I was with 2 of my closest friends, and we just came in and we rocked it, got first place. It was just something I'm going to remember forever, and I know that we did a great job on it.
Mm-hmm. And what was your competition with the showcase?
It was the new food truck concept. So we created the new food truck. We've been working on it since January. We made the whole basis, and it was just an amazing way to show what we knew and what we learned from Ms. Shepherd's class.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's take a step back. What exactly was a showcase? 'Cause I know it's a career and technical education showcase for entrepreneurship. Can you explain what exactly was that showcase all about?
So we had 3 teams compete. So there were 2 different categories that we competed in. So Robert referred to the food truck. So they were the sports and recreation and entertainment management class team that participated with their Smoothical food truck. And then the other 2 teams were for my marketing applications. So we really wanted to come up with a new product or service, again, Shark Tank-esque, if you will. And I did actually have one of each. So it was one service-based and one product-based. And the students were amazing. I mean, it's awesome to see their creativity come to life. So we were able to create new products and services. Every team created 2 key marketing strategies. So we were able to see, hey, what would you have chosen based on your target market and your demographics and why? So it's almost tying in that full circle of we learn target market year 1, and they can't stand how much I talk about it after that. And it was really cool to see them in their element and excited to present. So, you know, those nerves seemed to go away. You would think that these students were nervous. I was probably more nervous than they were coming into this, and all 3 teams placed. So I was so proud of them, and it was so cool for them to be able to go in front of professionals within the county and show what they have, because they have great skills.
Yes. I must say, I actually was able to witness some of your students in action, and I must say overall, for all of the students coming in, I was blown away. And some of the judges that we had, they couldn't stop talking, say enough about not only your students, but overall, like what our career education students are doing and how they're actually applying it to the real world. Can you tell me about the preparation for your students? Like, did you bring anyone that were either mentors or to help out with your program?
Yes, so we, like Robert said, we worked on this for months because I really wanted them to create something that they were proud of. I didn't want it to feel rushed. I didn't want it to feel as if it was just thrown together. So I started with the students, and we made little benchmarks of where you should be at this point, and what the expectations were based on the showcase judging. And then I actually brought in 3 people from junior achievement. So they talked about public speaking. What are those key things that people are looking for? And then they actually helped mentor the students of, this was great, but let's work on this. Let's hone our skills with this. So we did that, refined from there. And then we actually had what I called a mock showcase with one of our business connections. So it was really cool to have her in the room, and she was mock judging. So then again, right at the end, all of my students, even if they didn't participate here at the district, they got the feedback that matters, right? So I know that they hear me all the time, so my feedback may get muted at some points, and I understand. But it's cool to see, hey, a CEO came into your classroom and told your kids, you're doing amazing, let's just work on this. So I did have multiple people in the room. It was awesome to work with them. I'm so grateful for their time because they were great.
Yeah. Can you see some of your students taking that business plan to the next level and turning into like a real life dream come true for them?
I do. So there's one team in particular, their company name was Bad Beauty, and it was a really cool concept. So basically it was everything that you can think of for beauty, but doing it simultaneously. So instead of doing a hair appointment and nail appointment separate, do it all at the same time.
All right. Don't give away too much. We have viewers.
Who wouldn't want that though? So they were looking into it, and they were really excited about it. And it was cool to see everybody's personalities come out in these teams. So yes, I won't reveal anything else, but yes, they definitely are looking into it. So it's awesome to see. And that team specifically are sophomores, so think of how far they can go with that.
Right, exactly. So Robert, with this, basically you all are getting the application, right? You're meeting with CEOs, you're meeting with leaders from not only community but nationally that's coming to your classroom. Why is that important for you as a student to have that connection and start networking now?
As she said, it brings a new perspective in. And she's right, sometimes I do tune her out because I've been hearing her for the last 4 years. But it's nice to have somebody else come in and tell me something, because not everybody has the same perspective. If you see something over and over again, you'll probably think of it the same, but having just newer CEOs, newer people come in and give me some new advice just gives me an extra hand to reach out. And especially because I've gotten some of their business cards, I can email out to them, ask for advice, or just email and hope for a response.
So, Ms. Shepherd, another topic I want to mention or speak with you about is work-based learning. How are you incorporating work-based learning with your students and actually having those business partners that are now sustained business partners with your program? How are you working with that and getting your students acquainted with work-based learning?
So we do it in a few ways. So Junior Achievement is one of my favorite organizations to work with. Every year, each class has what I call a week-long workshop. So we do different things each year with Junior Achievement, and they come in and they help with all of those work-based learning skills. They help me, again, get a new perspective in the classroom, like Robert said. And I'd also like to talk about, can I speak on hands-on learning in my classroom?
Yes, of course.
So my students are also learning how to market with tangible items. So we have a very exciting new poster printer that my students have been working with, as well as a sublimation printer for clothing, those types of items, and then a vinyl machine as well. So instead of just being on a computer, which I feel like some people think marketing is, I want them hands-on. So that starts more towards marketing applications, just so we can get our base. But yes, we're working with our connections outside of the school, but I'm also teaching them those hands-on skills so we can sell within our school to whether it's different clubs or just the student body.
Okay. All right. So Robert, with workplace learning and the exposure and experience that you're getting in your classroom, do you also work outside of being a student?
I do.
Okay. So can you tell us about that and how you're applying what you learned in the classroom from the program to your life now?
So as Ms. Shepherd spoke on earlier, some of the soft skills like keeping eye contact, focusing on what people are saying, and just listening, I use that at work, and it actually helped me get a promotion within 6 months of me first working.
Wow, congratulations. Congratulations. So you're basically kind of like working your way up through this business, right? And then now, one of the other things I know that you're involved in is a career and technical student organization, right? Can you all tell us, both of you could speak on what career and technical student organization that you all are a part of?
Yes, so we just launched our chapter this year. We reinstated it. We're so excited. It is our DECA chapter. So I like to explain it as it's similar to FBLA. So it does stand for Distributive Education Clubs of America. If I had to sum it up in a few words, it's a business competition club. There are students that they're within the chapter, but they just weren't comfortable with competing this year. So not only are we competing, but we're doing team building, we're learning those business skills outside of the classroom, and we're volunteering within the community. So DECA has been a great addition for us. We did make it to district this year. I can't wait to see how far we go next year. Mm-hmm. And actually, Robert has been the vice president of the chapter this year. So if you want to speak on that.
Definitely within it, I've just learned how to talk in front of more people because I have to be in front of the whole chapter as a whole. Definitely learned to help guide people along what they're doing. And we did end up going to a sports and entertainment conference in Orlando back at the end of January, early February, which was an amazing experience to learn from professionals in their industry in marketing and sports. They gave both sides during the presentations.
So I love that you're actually getting your students out. Yep. That you're not only, now your students actually taking the information, this knowledge, and applying it real world, and now competing and getting awards for it, scholarship opportunities. That's amazing. One of the other things I wanted to make sure that we discuss is the point that your classroom, because I know when I walked in the first time, I was blown away at some of the technology and that industry level technology that you're incorporating into your classroom. Can you explain us some of the things that we would see in your classroom that you incorporate for your program?
Yes, so like I mentioned, we have the poster printer, so it's amazing. So we work off of two desktops basically, and students are able to build the marketing that you would see even on social media. We're able to get that onto print, onto banners, magnets. There's so many cool things you can do with that printer. And then we also have the sublimation printing and the vinyl printing. So those are multiple steps to work through, and it's really cool to show the students from start to finish. They think t-shirts just grow on trees sometimes, I think, but it's really cool to see how many steps it actually takes and how careful you have to be to make these things perfect. So it really helps them with those skills. And then, yes, the t-shirt's made. We've done that part of the marketing. Now you have to market the t-shirt. So it's a full circle of selling items, and it's really cool to make some school spirit items as well. And looking forward, we're actually working on building my classroom a little bit differently. I'm really big on collaborative learning and working together, so I can't wait for you to see what we do in the classroom.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things, key points that you mentioned is that you're showing your students full circle. So they're actually working together, they're planning, they're designing, they're marketing. But not only that, but don't you all have like a business enterprise on your campus?
Business enterprise like the bookstore? Is that what you're referencing?
Right.
Yes. So we also reopened our Jaguar bookstore. So it comes with all sorts of different school spirit items. And what's cool now is we're actually able to use our printers to make the items ourselves. So when we first started, of course, we had to purchase outside of the school. But now that we have the equipment, my students are seeing, hey, I actually made that shirt. And now I get to sell it. I get to create the invoice, I get to do the inventory. It's all full circle, and they're able to learn those selling skills as well that, again, no matter what field you go into, we all need.
And then one of the initiatives of career and technical education, and then for our Department of Education, was to make sure that students have opportunities to attend a career fair and participate with that. So were your students participants of that?
Yes. Our students were amazing. I'm so proud of them. So the career fair was really cool this year. So they were able to get dressed professionally, which they all did so well. It's great to see them. And I also made sure that they all had nice, concise resumes ready to go, so they were able to get jobs on the spot if they were offered to them. I know that a lot of my students gravitated towards the summer camp options. They were very excited, which is awesome because that shows me that they're ready to be leaders. If you want to work in that type of environment, then I'm doing my job, I'm doing the right thing. So it was a really cool experience.
So Robert, were you able to attend the career fair?
I was, and I was able to walk around to all the different tables. There were a few programs. I talked to a few apprenticeship programs, a few work programs, and it was nice to talk to a bunch of different people, get different opinions, and hand out my resume to people.
And why is that important? Like, were you able to speak with like some of your other peers that attended as well? Why is that important to have that connection prior to high school graduation as a senior?
So having the connection before lets me know that I have options and I'm not just stranded to one certain path. I know that I can go multiple different ways, and it helps me know that I'm able to do what I want to do. I can fall on my feet and get right back up.
I love that. I love that she said that. All right. So, and one of the ways that also prepares you is industry certifications. So I know you had mentioned this earlier on, but can you go into detail exactly the industry certification that you offer to your students?
Yes. So each year has a different certification. So in year one, Marketing Essentials, we start with the CIW Social Media Strategist certification. It's really cool. It dives right into social media and the different aspects of how to market that. Then we move on to year two, which is the Marketing Application Certification, and it is the Certiports Entrepreneurship and Small Business. I personally love that certification because it starts from the qualities of an entrepreneur all the way into the business financials. And then in year three, so Sports, Recreation, and Entertainment Marketing Management, that's going to be the Project Management Ready certification with Project Management Institute. So again, moving all the way through into management, if they go all the way through my program, which most of them do, they finish with 3 certifications. In high school, that's incredible. And we include that IRSC credit at the end of the program, so it really sets students up for success.
And basically your students will be ready to go either A, graduate from high school, go right into industry, and actually make a good entry level pay for it, right? Because of those certifications. And the other route is going to post-secondary training or going to a post-secondary institution in order to pursue their bachelor's degree, their master's, their doctor level degrees. So Robert, which entry certifications have you actually earned?
So I've earned all 3 that she mentioned, and there was a 4th one that was placed in her second year, which is a communication one that I also earned. So just throughout the 3 years, I've earned all 4 industry certifications.
Okay. So what are some of the, when students, because sometimes students will ask, well, I have the certification, what kind of jobs are out there for me? What would be your response?
The business world is so vast, it's exciting. So I like to remind my students, yes, we're a marketing program, and yes, you learn those things, but even in the business world, there are so many opportunities here. We are such a growing area every single day. The traffic proves it. I think you can agree with that.
Yes.
So the students have opportunities with stacking the resumes the way that they do. It's amazing. So like you said, they can go right into an entry-level position. They also have opportunities for internships. So there were internships that were just recently offered to students that my students did apply for. The Bank of America internship comes to my mind. It's incredible what they can do right out of high school. They have a pretty lengthy resume for 18-year-olds, which is really cool for a senior coming out of school. They have so many options.
And you had also mentioned earlier on that you were talking about employability skills. Can you share with us what exactly with employability skills, those soft skills, 21st century skills, how are you instilling those into your students?
So a lot of my bell ringers have to do with soft skills. Even after year one, when we really have those full units of them, I go on to what we think are the simple things that maybe students haven't perfected yet. We do lessons in cursive every now and then. We make sure that you're typing at an accurate rate. We're making sure that your emails are professional. eye contact, no fear of speaking to strangers, and just knowing the importance of connections when you're talking to strangers. So all of those are put into units into my program, but they're also just used as bell ringers as a constant reminder.
Okay. Now, another aspect of the program that we should all be aware of are the advisory boards and having sustained business partnerships. Can you explain how are you connecting, because we already heard a little bit about how you're connecting your industry partners to your students, but what are you doing to make sure that your program is continuously growing?
Yes, so when I started with Port St. Lucie High School 3 years ago, we only had marketing essentials. So we've built the program, and I'm so proud because it's really due to my students and keeping retention with my students. But we've built our program. Now we are a solid 3-year program, but IRC has been amazing. We've actually been working with them, and we had full field trips that we were able to work with different business professors so students can see moving forward, what are we going to be doing? So they're amazing. They're on the adversary board. It's amazing what they've been doing with us, and we're excited to continue.
Okay. Do you feel like when you're talking with your students about, because we talked about like the career field, right, and going directly into the like into industry as soon as they graduate, right? But then the other side is you're making them workforce ready, right, with those certifications.
Right.
And then that third piece is articulation agreements. So I know you mentioned, getting those students those college credits, right? So can you elaborate a little bit more on that with articulation agreements?
Yes, so with IRC, it's an amazing program, what they've done for us. So as long as students go all the way through and pass all 3 years of my class, once they graduate from IRC, they're eligible for up to 6 IRC credits. So they get to bypass, I believe it's 2 classes of their degree because they were with me. So not only are they getting the value of learning, they're also getting that reward of putting in the hard work so they don't have to do those 2 credits at IRSC.
Mm-hmm. So Robert, as a student, let's say there was a future student or someone that were thinking about the program or that is at PSL High School, what would you say to them, or a student that's coming into the program or even considering it?
So I usually explain the program as it's fun, you're hands-on, you're learning, but one thing I always mention is the environment of the program that Ms. Shepherd has created. It's genuinely such a caring environment, open environment to everybody. She cares about every single student that walks in, and then she also helps every single student that needs help. Every time I've needed something, I've always gone to her. I've never been disappointed.
Oh, wow, that is so sweet of you to say that. So if anyone watching and they want to have more information about your program or be able to view it some more, get more details, what would you recommend them doing?
I would highly recommend to go onto the St. Lucie Schools website, and they can find me under the Career and Technical Education Department. And it should have a full detailed list there, but they can always contact me at the school as well. So Jasmine Shepherd at stlucieschools.org is my email. So if they have any questions, I'm happy to answer anything.
Okay. And as we prepare to close, is there anything any final things you'd like to say, either one of you?
Nope, I think we're great. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, well, thank you. I'm Lanisha Robinson, and this is Career and Technical Education, #Build a Future. I encourage you to view our St. Lucie Public Schools Career and Technical Education page. In Career and Technical Education, we are establishing a pipeline from secondary to post-secondary and career pathways for all of our students. We are building a future and continuing to close a skills gap. On behalf of the station's team, I'd like to thank you for joining us today.
Oh,